The Bring a Trailer podcast.
I was somewhat tempted to force you guys into an impromptu one-year garage game. It's been too long since we played one, but that's too cruel because everyone needs to prep. You want no prep on a one-year garage?
It is fun to prep, though, because then you pick out some good things that you don't think about offhand. Or do we?
Also, Beck feels a need to win. So
prep is my only angle that I have.
Oh, well, hold on. Maybe Alex and I have a chance.
I've never won. Nobody ever likes what I do because I'm true to myself, unlike Beck and Zach, who need the approval of the masses of the crowds.
I took plenty of heat. Apparently, the 1980 garage, I picked like $80,000 worth of cars.
I remember one time I made the mistake of picking All American. I thought like it was kind of a cool theme, and it immediately hurt me. Yeah, I was picking Vipers was just not going to compete compared to what Zach picks. Like,
yeah. Zach's like, I like a Mark IV Supra. I like an NSX. I like a Porsche Turbo.
All the things that are appreciated. That's what you pick.
Yeah. Well, that's smart. It's a smart way to buy too.
Yeah, it's interesting to go with American for, I assume, like early 90s, mid 90s there, Beck?
For that one I did. I remember it was a Viper GTS. It was, I think, a Jeep Cherokee I did. I just liked that body style so much. And it was just shooting myself in the foot. It didn't work out.
Are we in the pod? We're in the pod.
We're in the pod.
Welcome back, everybody.
In the
Alex
pod.
here, joined by Tyler and Beck, in case you couldn't tell.
Hello, everyone.
We're making it up as we go. Can we reveal that?
That's not dissimilar to how we always do it, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I was like downstairs working as of 30 seconds ago when you told me we have to go do this. So
we do. We're doing it as a favor to our producer, Chris Baxter, who we appreciate, who wants to not edit one at the last minute and actually have one ready a little bit ahead of time, which is fair enough. We should start by talking about Lot 250,000 yesterday, which was a big deal for us and is our record sale. And it kind of didn't dawn on me till fairly late. I think we talked about it a little bit on our last pod, Tyler, but it didn't dawn on me till partway through that auction that, oh man, our record sale is also going to be this milestone sale, which we do milestone sales every once in a while, right? We did it lot 100,000. And in the early days, we'd do them often. We'd do them. There was like lot 2,000, lot 3,000, like each 1,000 lots was a big deal, but none of them was ever a record sale until this one.
In fact, many of them were not even sales.
Fair enough. Wait, that was the 356 Carrera.
My first day. It was lot 10,000.
Oh.
It was a 356 Carrera. I want to say reserve was 600 something. And
it wasn't embarrassing, right, though?
It wasn't too embarrassing. It was also, I remember even the feeling of when it went live or while it was live, there was this general discussion of like, this car was too heavy for what we were used to. Like, this was a long shot.
Right. It was ambitious to even list it, like which is so interesting when you think about it, like listing a $500,000 car was like, whoa, we have a $500,000 car.
And we've heard that from a few people. X car will never be on Bring a Trailer.
Oh, yeah.
You're told that before, right?
And now we've listed like 20 of those. We can just say it's Singer 911.
Right. Yeah. So like that's happened to us a couple of times, obviously way less frequently. I think that the goal with putting the lot number in the title for making a big deal of it is that the interval of time is the same, right? Because the increase in volume of listings on the site is such that if we were doing even every 100,000, it would feel too often now.
Yeah, we skipped 200,000 because it was kind of like, let's wait till it's a more, I don't want to guarantee anything. We probably want to do another one. It's still 500K.
So I think that's pretty much already understood.
Yeah.
The 288 is just one of those amazing halo cars that I think is a great representation of what has been built here over the years. But it is kind of interesting that it's like also not really our like typical vibe. I mean, it's like really way above what we are all kind of into. And even though there's no shortage of Bugattis and Lamborghinis and Ferraris at that, kind of higher multi-million-dollar price point, it's also not necessarily our ethos here either.
Totally.
It's just kind of interesting.
I was talking to Noah, our head of our community management team and long-term employee the other day, and he's like, oh man, what are we going to do to eclipse this? And I'm like, honestly, so the 288 sold for $6.8 million. Once you're at this level, the sellers of these cars expect a lot out of the platform that's auctioning them, right? Like if you took this to a temple auction, they'd trot the car around. They'd spend a lot of money on promotion. Huge credit and shout out to Anthony Serra, 600 Veloce, the seller of this car, who like paid $99 to list it. Just like this is like a standard VAT auction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
the fee was only $7,500.
I was gonna say we should also give a shout out to the buyer who paid $7,500
totally
to buy it,
and a repeat seller. And I think it was well bought, well sold all around. But yeah, like if you have I would love to think somebody would, and I think they could sell a 250 short wheelbase on BAT, but like, man, if you have a 250 short wheelbase, what are you expecting out of the auction house in terms of guaranteed promotion? Maybe in terms of the auction house guaranteeing a sale amount and maybe throwing in a few bids of their own. We don't do any of that stuff. And we're flirting with the level of cars where that's like expected.
Well, we're in a territory. I think there's no surprise that this 288 was being offered by a local partner, because in those situations, they can provide at least that level of support that they might be expecting from a traditional auction house that Bring a Trailer isn't doing because of our remote status, because we're web-based, because our fees are so low. Now, the challenge with that is, you're not wrong, once you start getting into the 8-figure world, and we've had those offers, we've had those discussions, we've discussed reserves on cars that are north of this by a considerable amount. And the challenge there is that there's a certain amount of risk when you are going to be advertising a car of that amount, and the fee is considerably low. Having that local partner support, someone who can be verifying things in person, working with that person closely. Now, granted, part of it is that they've got their commission structure.
Yeah.
And so there is a financial incentive for them to make sure this all works out, right? Anthony Serra does not want any chance of this to blow up in his face, because it's a big deal. Now, granted, of course, he did the really smart thing of he bought the car himself, right? So that way he's not dealing on both sides parties, right?
Yep.
He doesn't have an owner that he has to manage.
And it's somebody
buyer.
who understands how to do BAT successfully.
Completely.
Right.
One
But
of the
that's
top
what it
guys
takes, I think, at this level to
Correct.
get these kinds of cars on BAT.
And the BAT fee structure allows for so much meat left on the bone, if you will, that you can find people who are, if they're really willing to work at it and understand the marketplace and really have a true skill set, not just an entrenched sort of market space because they've just been around in the business for decades or whatever, they can penetrate a level of this market that BAT kind of needs their help on to a certain degree.
That's right.
And that allows us to get into the space. And notably, there's now a poster of this car downstairs.
Oh man, maybe Chris can post that as the lead image for this, because this looks so sick.
It's a fantastic poster. And I think very notably, it is hanging above the 100,000th listing, which was our own car, the Datsun Z, which was sold at no reserve for charity. Now, there is an interesting disparity there of like, it was us selling our car and now we're putting a local partner out there on it. But I think it's also recognizing that, I don't know, it would be curious to see how long it takes until someone's willing to bring in a car at this level as a private party.
Yeah.
I don't know when that's going to be.
Well, I like a local partner offering it because it's a reflection of the way the site has evolved over the last, that was 3 years ago that we had lot 100,000. And so it really shows the evolution of our professional class of sellers over the last 3 years.
Yeah. Our local partners they are actually fantastic partners. You know, we don't just use that term because we couldn't think of something to call them. We actually do consider them partners. So when Anthony Serra lists this 288, you know, we're very much in this together. You know, it's not a seller kind of being on their own and us having to figure out like, how do we market this thing? What are we doing with it? He knows what he's doing and he can do it.
That's right. We have incredible faith in him. I was so stoked it came through.
We were all watching and we're hoping for it to happen. We're hoping for it to happen. And yeah, it was a phenomenal result.
It was great. Repeat buyer. I think I already said that on the win, which is awesome.
Can we guess some of the metrics on this?
Oh yeah, huge engagement. So I feel bad because I kind of implied that BAT can't promote a car. This actually got tremendous exposure. It's one of our most popular auctions of all time. And we are actually able to do a bunch of things to promote a car that are just a little different than trotting it around to 12 of your tentpole auctions and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're not advertising in Rob Report.
Right.
But we are reaching out to multiples of millions of people.
Yeah, there's a few people that saw this. So when I last looked, it was getting damn near 1,000 comments. So what's the comment?
So it's scraping on there. I mean, maybe some BAT podcasters can push us over 1,000. 972.
Oh man, it's close.
Very close. Watchers is high, but this disparity between view count and watch count is, and by watch, what I mean is people who've subscribed to notifications on it, is indicative of these high dollar cars where there is a small buyer pool.
Yeah, not a lot of people with $7 million,
Correct.
$7 million of
Lying around.
liquid assets in their pockets.
But obviously it stokes the emotions. It gets people excited, people of all walks of life. And so watch count, 7,500.
I mean, that's pretty big.
Which is very high. That's still probably 5 to 6, maybe even 7 times what a normal auction would get. But the view count is the extreme.
Is the trailer still the record? The Capistrano trailer, is that still the record?
I think we were still pretty far away from the Capistrano on this one.
There's and that was 350?
350.
Capistrano trailer, also importantly to keep in mind is that came out during the kind of, not the height of COVID, but a little bit later into that cycle when view counts were sort of inflated everywhere. People were stuck at home. They couldn't.
Yeah, August of 21 for that one.
So even more so, right? So a pretty extreme opportunity to gather the largest views when viewership on the site is extremely high, but inventory on the site wasn't very high. And so you had to split up the view counts over a small inventory. Everything got inflated quite a bit. Did you see what it was for Capistrano?
378.
Oof. Okay. So
Well, I'm looking at most popular results, and the GTO's on the top line.
is it,
okay.
It's 323,000
Yeah.
Oh, it
views.
did get that.
So
high.
it's
Wow.
number 4 of all time. When I looked, it was like maybe 15th or 20th most popular. So it is the 4th most.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I want to say a lot of that came in after the auction because when I was watching the close, I feel like it was at 150, 180, something
They
like that.
may have gotten 100 comments.
It
after.
finally
Yeah.
eclipsed Wobb's tank, the Sherman Grizzly.
yeah.
Do you remember the
Yeah.
Grizzly debacle? That was back when my fingers still worked. And it was, we called it a Sherman, but it's a Grizzly, which is like the Canadian version. Anyway,
Mm.
that was sitting on the top row forever. And this finally eclipsed it. So there's the top 3. Second place, I bet you edited this one, that weird cruiser mobile home, the semi-truck green, like half
With,
RV,
like, the
half semi-truck.
snowmobiles?
Yes.
yes,
Yes, that's number 2.
The Camelot cruiser.
Yep. And then our first, I think it was our first 22B, also in 2021, benefiting from that same phenomenon, our first 22B STI Impreza, right when those were, I think, very first legal to import. That car is number 3. But this is number 4. And then you were going to mention another stat. I mean, it's our most expensive car of all time by quite a bit. $1.5 million.
$1.5 million, yes.
What's amazing to me, did you see we also sold a 2.7 RS lightweight, and it's like completely overshadowed. Same day, same time, 1.2 million.
That was White Glove.
Oh, was it?
That's my guy. That's Prancing Horse. Username Prancing Horse has sold lots of stuff on the website now. He's kind of in a second phase of his life doing some brokerage and some buying and selling. He did the Datsun collection.
Oh, that guy.
in
Yeah.
2022.
I remember, huh? I
got
think we've talked about him on the pod before.
Probably. I mean, if you're dabbling in Carrera RS lightweights, you might get mentioned in some circles. Got to go down to his house, 4 years ago now, to go help him produce that. I brought in Corey Mader, one of our best photographers. He does a lot of our collection sales. And we photographed his 6 Datsun Zs, everything from a first year 240 to a 280ZX 2+2. And that was kind of my favorite type of collection because there was such a literal cohesive tissue between the cars. It was almost like a study on the Z, if you will. Ever since then, he's been dabbling with cars here or there, some brokerage, some stuff he's buying himself. He bought that Carrera RS not long ago. It was at Mecum in August. I bought it for $1 million.
Oh, wow.
And
He did all right
and
then.
He did all right. He got some very crucial inspections done. So he did some value add.
That
Open.
weren't done when it was at Mecum.
They weren't done
Yeah.
when they were on Mecum, when they were up for auction. That car had come for auction several times. So he got some of that work done. He did a lot of...
That was good he did because there were some questions in the
There were
comments.
some questions and comments from 1 to 2 particular people. He did a lot of legwork on that one and brought it to BAT, got a great photo gallery. He's a very, very passionate guy. And he got 1-2 for it. And you're not wrong. You know, we get pretty siloed sometimes in our different departments. And I was personally running that auction. And when he and I discussed a scheduling time, I was looking at his schedule, my schedule, other cars. And so we picked it. It was the same day. But I'm actually a big believer that it's a rising tides situation.
Of course it is.
There was literally people commenting on the lightweight auction saying, came here for the GTO. This car is awesome.
Well, also, by the way, it's not the same buyer for both cars.
Correct.
And this is proof of what we tell people all the time, which I think people doubt us a fair amount, which is like a good car with a good presentation. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. People will show up for it.
If someone is cross-shopping those two cars or even consider bidding on both, they have someone doing that for them. They have a team of people doing
But that was nobody.
I mean, have you guys looked at the winner of the 288 auction to their past purchases?
They bought the David Lee car, which
They
I
bought
saw
the
at the
David
Quail
Lee
many
car.
years ago.
But they started in 24 and
Sorry, I say
25.
the David Lee car. That's not very descriptive. This is the David.
I know what you're talking
The
about. but yeah.
David Lee built some years ago. He had a Dino built with a V8. So it's kind of a singerized, speaking of singer, a singerized Dino, black with a V8. It's got ITBs on it and kind of everything dialed up to make it a little bit more of a, I mean, this is probably
sounds like a
sacrilege.
fun
It's like a
car.
resto mod. It's like a Dino resto mod.
but probably done the idea of you're keeping the ethos of the car, somewhat in line with the manufacturer,
Right.
but you are sort of picking and pulling parts and bits from the different generations in order to make maybe like the best one that people like visually and mechanically.
Yeah. So this guy, 24, 25, is buying anniversary edition Corvettes and Mustangs and a Harley.
And a 40,000 mile Cayenne turbo.
Yeah, right. And then all of a sudden, this $1.1 million Dino followed by the $6.8 million GTO. It's an interesting progression.
He's living life just fine.
He's doing all right.
Speaking of kind of resto mod hot rods, did you see the Pagoda that had the E55 engine swap in it? It was kind of all over the internet recently. So it looks kind of stock and period. And this, shout out to my guy, Mike Perlman from Motoring Club. He was explaining that this guy, this builder, does these builds where he uses all Mercedes parts. So it's a 6-speed manual out of like a CLK.
Oh, fantastic.
It's the NA E55 V8 out of like the first generation E55. And they got rid of the low pivot swing axle rear end that's in these cars. And I think it's got CLK rear suspension, like more modern rear suspension and probably rear end.
I feel like that'd be wide on that car unless it's modified.
I mean, it's all modified. But anyway, car sold for $144,000, supposed to be great. I think Jason Camisa drove. It was kind of all over the place on the internet recently. But another, Resto Mod seems mean-spirited for all these cars. But it's a car where, this is a trend that I really like, where you're trying to take a period car and make it more modern and have more performance and more drivability for a contemporary rich guy driver, but not in the Art Morrison, huge big wheels kind of way that a lot of resto mod muscle cars were done. It's almost like the next evolution of that.
It's the balance that's very trendy and one that I appreciate, which is you're trying to hold a restrained approach towards the visual modification of the car. Right. I love modifications where your layman doesn't know what was changed. They just know that one looks cooler. I don't really know why.
Right.
But like it's been lowered an inch and a half. The right wheels
This
are
Pagoda's got steel wheels on it still, right?
It's like you need the steel. Like the steel, these are perfect.
This Pagoda, I'm sorry, and to make this a little bit easier on people, this is auction number 250437, listed by OTS & Co. If you were to take the livery off this car, if it was just a red car, you saw the steelies on it, you would think almost nothing about this.
Which is, by the way, exactly what I would do. And I put hubcaps back on.
With the steelies on it, you would see that car and think something's different.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it looks different. And that's a very fine line. It's very difficult. It's obviously very much a reflection of modern tastes, because you're not wrong that if this had been in the American car equivalent and this was done 20 years ago, it'd be big chrome wheels and big brakes that meant
cross drill bare brakes and and matte. Something would be matte. And then it would have, this is the one that's the worst for me. You put the modern high backed sport seats in like a vintage car, and I can't.
Right. That's so Porsches, people do that all the time.
I know,
or not even just high back, but ones that didn't have a headrest, or they had a removable headrest, whatever. The best part of this listing, by the way, we've overlooked. This car was on the site before.
Oh yeah, before mods.
Pre-mods.
It's an alumni car.
Like as a wreck or as some kind of
just as like a regular.
It was a 230.
Okay.
It was listed as a project, but a very pretty, very clean project.
It's exactly what you'd want to buy, actually, like cosmetically nice.
Yeah, you don't. If you've ever bought a project car before and it had cosmetic issues, you've learned that your next project car, you want the least amount of cosmetic issues possibly. Like you're right, because mechanical stuff is money and time. Cosmetics is like pain and blood and just tears.
Especially if your plan is to cut the 6-cylinder out anyways.
Right. But it sold for $38,500 in 2024. That's actually a pretty decent turnaround on a project of this magnitude. Basically 2 years and change to go from that to $144,000. But granted, I don't know if they made the money back on this.
I have no idea, but what a cool idea. I like the idea of using all the period parts, or like not period parts. They're not period, but same manufacturer.
Same manufacturer.
It's fun for Mercedes. I mean, that's something you see for Ford, Chevrolet. You kind of like are used to it for a lot of the American manufacturers, but to see it from Mercedes is kind of cool. Like I think we've seen some BMWs that have kind of gone that route.
I
don't know if we talked about it on the pod, but the E9 that was all based on a V8 M5.
Oh, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. That was a white glove car, wasn't it?
Yes, we've had that one by Ray out of LA. He's listed a few awesome builds, an E12 build that he did as well. The German brands in general, I think, are European-wise, maybe I'm naive about this, but I feel like they're probably the best suited for that sort of cross-generational upgrade.
Especially Porsche and Volkswagen, which is why they do it. So one of my friends used to call them Lego bricks. You take the engine out of this 911, you put it in that 911, right?
I mean, if you have the same bolt positions for engine mounts for 30 plus years, you can do a lot with that.
Yep.
So that's really helpful. BMW, maybe a little bit less so than Porsche, Volkswagen, but still very encouraging. I think a lot of it was that they upgraded components of cars in different times. So you can take rear ends of other cars.
Speaking of seats, every E21 got gutted for its 5-speed and its Recaro, so they could go and do a 2002.
Exactly. That's it. And limited slip rear diffs and all that stuff. E21s are really just like, ugly O2s with big bumpers on them, which granted, that's what a 74 square tail is anyway, but still. Hey,
it works out. I know.
I can say that. You can't say that.
I wouldn't. I say controversial things and I wouldn't say that. You mentioned Fords. Randy's Falcon was kind of like this too. That was not a resto mod, but it was a modified to upgraded period spec kind of performance car, right? Similar to this Pagoda, like bigger motor, 5-speed, sport seats, roll bar, but period roll bar.
Still a small block.
Yep.
And had the Shelby drop on the suspension on the front end.
Yep, that's right.
I kind of liked to theorize that that's what the Shelby GT350 would have been.
If it was a Falcon?
If it was a Falcon.
Yeah.
Totally. I liked playing that in my eye.
Oh, that's smart. I never thought about that. That's great.
That car sold in the site.
Sold twice. Randy sold it through WOB, local partner, who we've mentioned a couple times already. And then it came back again. And I think it sold for more. There's a funny Randy comment on that auction, as I recall.
I know Automotive Restorations in Connecticut sold it a while ago, too, but I don't remember if it was on the site or not.
It was on the site when I first worked here 10 years ago, long before Randy owned it, and didn't meet reserve.
Okay.
And then I think somebody else owned it in the interim, and then he bought it. I actually don't know the story of where he dug it up. I loved that car, as you know.
Yeah, all this resto mod type stuff goes back to a conversation that we were having at the Concours a couple weekends ago, which was amazing, by the way.
We haven't talked about Hillsborough.
Yeah, about all Hillsborough. A lot of folks who are buying new Corvettes, new Ferraris, and kind of bringing them to what you would expect to be like a vintage automotive gathering, and all of a sudden everyone's showing up in new cars. A lot of it is people just like to get in something that's going to turn on and it's going to stop and it's going to go, and they don't have to think about it too much. And these kind of resto mods, which is what got to be one of our least favorite words here at BAT, that's kind of a fun way of doing it.
I completely understand. Like, we have this Route 66 event coming up, and I really want to drive. I was watching David Freiberger, former of Roadkill. He posted this old trip he did from 20 years ago where he bought an old Dodge pickup truck and drove most of the old Route 66 route. And I'm like, and all the signs that he found, and a lot of those are gone now from old, motels and cafes. And I'm like, man, I want to do this. And the old American car I have is the Accord. And admittedly, I'm a total coward, but I'm like, man, I don't want to have that trip ruined by this car breaking down all the time. So I'm kind of like, what I need is a resto mod. I need something, because I don't want to do it in a brand new car, right? You want to do it in something cool and period, but you also want it to, I don't need air conditioning, but I do want it to start every morning, right? And I want to enjoy the trip and not be worrying about the car the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, like, one of my favorite things, I think it would still prevent you from being a resto modder, but I'm loving these like fuel injection setups. That replace 4-barrel, single-barrel.
Oh, and they look like them, right? Doesn't it look like a carb?
Yeah, a couple other brands make them, and it's like that's one of the hardest things about an old car is the carburetor, and to have fuel injection on something that could be otherwise totally correct 60s, let's say. I mean, that to me is kind of cool.
Yeah, there's a whole level though then of trying to get that tuned and serviced that scares me a little bit, right? Once you start meddling into that. It's all computer, but finding a place that can do that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not.
You have to do it yourself. Yeah,
I think it just tunes itself on a.
I think a lot of people just plug it in and do it themselves.
Yeah, it's DIY.
I know. Create your own fuel curve.
Yeah,
that's more of a Tyler thing. What if you guys were going to do? First of all, do either of you want to go to the Route 66 thing? We can discuss it offline, but I would be sick if you did. It's going to be in Flagstaff. What would you want to drive 66 in if you were going to do it? Maybe not end to end, but if let's say you were going to do 1,000 miles.
Just for sort of an easy answer, because I would love to just drive it in general, would be Randy's Chrysler downstairs,
yes,
300B.
Totally. That's the right call,
56 in red. Same year, I believe that model won NASCAR championships. It's only a 2-speed, but you don't really need that for that car, I guess.
No, it goes 130 miles an hour. It's fine. It's got
I think you're looking for a comfortable cruiser, but something that looks Americana, and that pretty much is almost peak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to go in a very similar direction. I think I would go with a Lincoln Continental, California, starring. God, do you remember this movie? Man, I'm trying to remember who was in it, but it was where they drive a Continental across Route 66 to California.
This is a movie?
Yeah.
What era?
Early 90s, I want to
Oh,
say.
wow. I don't know it.
It's got.
Oh, I've not seen this movie, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it starts with a K.
Yeah, right. K for
California.
California.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that Brad Pitt?
Is it Brad Pitt? I know it's a big.
I think it's Brad
big.
Pitt, and I think it's gosh.
It's Duchovny's in it.
Oh, I love Duchov.
And that was what was messing me up because he's obviously in Californication.
Yes, that's
so
right.
I was like, I'm thinking of
driving a ratty 964 that he's owned since new Cabriolet with like the headlight all busted in.
I love that car so much. I mean, Juliette Lewis is in this. I mean, classic 90s.
I've never seen it. Heard of it, never seen it. But
Anyway,
that's
they drive a Continental.
Perfect.
They got the top down. The four of them are just in there hanging out. There's like a couch in the back seat,
yes,
and they're
that's what you want.
cruising.
I really want to do it in a hot rod.
It's Dominic Senna.
Oh, that's how you knew it.
Okay, Dominic
Connection
Senna,
to BAT Pod.
director of Gone in 60 Seconds. This was an earlier film of his, I believe. Yes, he did this in 93. Didn't do too well. He had 7 years until his next project, which was Gone in 60
Which we
Seconds.
all did in this room, the three of us, not that long ago, and had already forgotten.
That's why I didn't know this movie at all. And I was like, why does that sound so familiar? And the second I saw it was spelled with a K, I had to go down it and I just saw Dominic Senna as director.
Amazing.
It's a great American film.
Okay, I'm going to check it out. Duchov. Love Duchov. Cruising 66 is a dream of mine. I really want to do it this year. 56 would be really good because it's also on the 10. This is the 100th anniversary this year. So Route 66 started in 1926.
Let's say you were to do a century run.
I was
What would we
thinking
go with?
something from 76 would be cool, right halfway between the founding and today. It's a dark era for American cars, but like you don't want to do it in a 76 Corvette, obviously. And 76 Mustang would be Mustang 2, right? I think that's a Mustang 2 era. 76 Camaro, not great. This is choking everything
You could
down.
still get a Bronco. Couldn't you get a 76 Bronco in the original body style?
Oh, that's good. What about a Cosworth Vega? Are those 76?
Yes.
That might be cool.
We sold a great one, a green one, Mark Schalero.
Ooh, green, a non-black one. How many are non-black? Not very many.
I don't know. This one was pretty ridiculous. Oh, another option is the year it was decommissioned.
What do you mean?
Route 66.
Oh, what year was it decommissioned?
1985.
Oh,
Opens up some options for early
C4
80s.
Corvette. Yes.
I mean, we could all get C4 Corvettes.
I know.
Let's just go get them.
I mean,
That's more exciting to me than 76.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I actually
definitely.
love 85. Little 4+3, little crossfire
Yeah, right.
objection.
Yeah, we've got our 21-speed transmissions, and
Man, 85 is interesting. That opens up all kinds. See, we are playing One Year Garage
We are,
already.
yes.
I mean, we could take this guy's GTO. Maybe he'll let us borrow it.
Maybe.
The GTO buyer.
Sure. Not American, but pretty cool. Have you guys ever driven chunks of it before?
Yeah, I've been on it.
Not intentionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you've driven like the 40 through northern
Some, yeah.
Arizona or something, which is on it. Kingman. I've done little bits of it here and there, but I would like to be more deliberative about it and like really try to hit all the parts of it. And like, honestly, I'm sure there's books and guidebooks, but like try to actually stop at all the landmarks, right? Like do it slow enough that you can stop everywhere and see all the remnants of the old things. And like, a lot of that stuff ain't going to be here in another 50 years, right? Like
Well,
a lot of stuff is already gone.
It's not here now.
I know.
So
I know.
It's not nearly as romantic as it looks.
Well, it goes through
in
some pretty
movies.
desolate parts of the country.
Yeah.
Cinematically beautiful, though.
I've done I-40, I-70, I-80, all the way across.
You've done all of those? Where's the 70 again?
70 goes through St. Louis. So it's like one step down.
through Denver, up the mountains.
Yep.
Where does it come into California? Or does it dead end into something else?
It goes
You have to
through
take
Vegas.
I would actually, in that run, I would switch over to
Oh, it turns
Route
15.
50.
Oh, 50.
Yeah.
Oh, and you'd go through
Go through
Ely and
Ely,
everything.
yes.
Yeah, okay. Sick.
So, yeah, that one.
70 doesn't go all the way to the coast because
no,
it doesn't come to
work as well,
California.
No.
Okay. Because at the bottom, I did, on my way back in the Ferrari, I did the 10, which is all the way at the bottom.
Mine was a mix of the 40 and the 70 because I went down to
Yep.
New Orleans and then came
The
back.
40 I did many times, which is awesome. I did that in the GT3, and when I lived in northern Arizona, I do it a lot. But I've never done the 80 past like
Yep.
Reno, and it kind of goes up north, I think. And then there's one all the way at
There's
the
also
top.
not a lot.
The
on
80 goes
past
yeah.
Reno.
It goes through Wendover.
Right,
It's
which I would
on the
love to do. That's the Salt Flats.
You would still hit the salt flats. So yeah, you hit the salt flats. You do the Utah thing, And then after that, it's pretty much a straight shot through Wyoming and then corn country.
But it must go over the Rockies somewhere, right?
You go through Wyoming, I believe.
Okay.
And over, Sierras and Lake Tahoe. And
I've done that chunk of it, but only that little bit. Never gone past Reno, but I've done the 50 out of Reno, which was awesome.
I did 80 from Chicago to San Francisco and back several years, just going to college out there. And then I once did...
How many days? What was your shortest transit?
Well, no, this is more impressive, is I did from New Jersey to San Francisco in 2.5 days.
Whoa! But Tyler does psychopathic.
He does. That's his.
were you by yourself?
No, with a buddy of mine, Ian Collier, a good friend.
Oh, shout out Ian. We love Ian.
Ian, he's with his ADSC.
Beck's not the host yet, Ian. That's a little inside joke. We have.
You guys will have to explain that one to me later.
He wants to fire me as the podcast host.
He was moving from it.
Get in line.
He was the southern trip that I did with him along the southern states was helping him move with his wife back from Virginia back to the Bay Area. And his moving company, I hope I'm not blowing up a spot too much. His moving company absconded.
Ian's moving company?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And
now I feel
so
bad for making fun of him. Shout out Ian. We love Ian.
They went out of business and stopped returning calls, and they didn't know where all their stuff was.
Like mid-route.
After they had taken it, before they had delivered it. And it turns out they found out that he got a hold of a TV station that did an investigation, found that all of his stuff was stuffed in a warehouse in New Jersey. It was a Florida-based shipping company, which apparently this is a thing because Florida doesn't track their businesses when it comes to cross-state shipping companies.
That's freedom.
And so they just close up and nobody follows up with them. And so when we found out where it was, we found out that the warehouse was going to start getting rid of the things because they'd stopped making payments. And so we last minute booked 2 tickets to New Jersey one way, rented a U-Haul truck, showed up at 6 o'clock in the morning, got into this warehouse where I have no idea what's happened in this place before, not all legal. We basically took all of his stuff, shoved it into a U-Haul truck, and then he and I both
recovered most of it?
I think we estimated around 85%.
Wow.
Of the stuff we got back. And we were just opening up pallets, cutting plastics, grabbing his stuff, throwing it in the back, strapping it down. And then we both
was
had
there
jobs.
A security guard or anything? Did they let
There was sort of a person there as a young guy.
But he knew people were trying to recover their goods?
That and...
or grease,
when you're
grease a palm?
When no palms were greased. When you're with a buddy and they are so angry and driven that no security is going to stop anything.
Yeah, they're not going to step in his way.
Yeah, it was like a 90s Mel Gibson movie. It's just give me back my stuff. It was that. And so
I will
Where's
take
my child.
And so we took all of the stuff, threw it in the back of this U-Haul truck, and we both had jobs to get to. We both had gigs we had to get to. And this is, a Friday morning. We had to be at work on Monday. And we just started driving. And we did full day drives. Our first stop was probably, I'm going to guess, Western Pennsylvania. Maybe we made it to Ohio. Our second stop was in Salt Lake suburbs.
Holy moly.
We did that. We got up before the sun rose. We drove constantly. We ate in the truck. We got into Salt Lake at 10, 11 o'clock at night. Went to bed, woke up that morning. I made it home for dinner. He dropped me off because he had the big truck and he was actually going to Oakland at the time. He dropped me off at a BART station in Oakland, West Oakland BART, and then I took the train back home.
Unbelievable.
Probably easier than maneuvering the U-Haul around the city.
Possibly, yeah. Plus, I think he was trying to get home.
He was also sick of being around back.
With 85% of his stuff.
There have been road trips. I've done multiple road trips with Ian, and there's been a meme of shared of we're lucky that we both made it because one of us may not have.
Was he stoked to get his stuff back?
Yeah, I mean, granted, whenever your beloved stuff has been, manhandled by people who don't care about it, not everything made it back.
And it's also tainted. You never can feel as good about it.
It's never quite your stuff.
Not your stuff anymore.
Mainly what you want though is the personal, the keepsakes and the photo albums and that
Correct,
kind of
for
stuff,
sure.
right?
That's a big one. And at the time, they were both firefighters. And so they had a bunch of emotional, meaningful things from their time training in Virginia. That was all part of that, and that was all gone. And so they were eager to get back. I wore a body cam when we stole all his stuff.
Whoa.
I was a little afraid of what might go down.
Yeah.
And I also at the time was a working photojournalist, and I was like, this is a story. And so when I helped them get in contact with the news crew, and so I shared the video footage with them, and it made it into the final clip. And it was it was like an eye on your side or whatever it is, eyewitness news kind of thing. And it showed the footage that I recorded while we were going.
Because there was a bunch of other people's stuff in there.
And what they do is, they stack your stuff onto a pallet. They wrap it in plastic so things won't fall off, obviously. And then they just stack those pallets up. And so you might have like 4 or 5 of those going up tall. And it was kind of like, which Indiana Jones is it that ends?
Raiders. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, of like, when we're walking through this, it was all like stacked up pallets of all these people's things.
Was there John Williams music playing?
Screams. There was a screams with that. And I remember like walking through these like columns of them and just recording like, this is people's stuff. They don't know where it is.
Man.
So lesson learned from that one. I mean, we're totally off topic here, but lesson learned from that. And I have a buddy right now, another buddy who's moving across country right now, and remember to advise him, like, only like nationally known, reputable companies, do not skimp out on shipping your stuff across country. We could roll that into shipping your car.
Good. Bring it back, Mr. Segway.
Just at a 911 992 Targa 4S. Sell on the site. Seller just sent me photos of it getting picked up by the car shipper today. He was a little sad to see it go, but he actually just bought a 296, so I think he'll just be fine.
He's going to be okay.
He'll be all right.
Yeah. That's like total natural progression. Right. Carrera 4S 992 into 296.
Right. Yeah.
You hear about that exact progression a lot, actually. Yeah.
He's going to get wherever the cushy McLaren is next, right? Like that's the next step.
I have no idea.
Or is it a Bentayga? What comes next? Maybe. You're like, enough sports cars.
It's a DB707. Have you seen how those prices have fallen?
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, that's the Aston Martin SUV. We just sold one yesterday that had like 40,000 miles, sold it for 40 grand. It sold new for 200 grand.
How old?
Yeah.
Maybe I need to get one. They're kind of sporty looking, aren't they? Yeah, I thought they were pretty good looking. They're kind of low and swoopy. Yeah, right?
they have the traditional Aston grille on them too, which is kind of cool. They really look like an Aston.
But it's probably the platform is something else, right? I presume.
I don't think it is.
It's its own thing?
Unless they're buying.
I don't know what else it would be.
Okay, interesting. Even the Porsches and the Lamborghinis are just Audis, aren't they? Volkswagens, if you want to be really mean.
Is the Lamborghini that too?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
The Urus is we were just talking about this.
Urus is the Cayenne, is the Q7. It's all
correct.
the same.
However, it's like one of those things where, especially for Porsche, like they get a platform, they mess with it. It's their own.
I mean, Macans drive freaking awesome, so I'm not even trying to like run them down. They're amazing. What's it called?
Okay, so it wasn't 40 grand. But we did one for 70 grand.
The
DBX, but there's a 707 version. Sorry, the DBX. And it had 40,000 miles, sold for 70 grand. And it's stickered new for, I hate this. Hey, everybody, when you list your car on BAT, give us your window sticker on day one and let us put it in the listing. Don't add it later.
Oh, yeah. Get the information out there up front.
Yep.
Oh yeah, well, look at the depreciation curve on the model page, because right when these were new, they were like selling for sticker basically.
How many have we sold? Have we sold that many of them?
Yes, 27.
Wow. Okay.
I love our model pages. I love our plotter graphs. I know they can get a little bit overwhelming. We have to keep working hard at sort of
breaking out
the model pages into subsets. I know it makes it a little bit annoying because it means sometimes you have to subscribe to multiple model pages when you really are not trying to cross shop. You're just like, oh, I'm just interested in an early 911. It may have been a T, but now it's billed out as an S, but I got to subscribe to both E's and S, it's the whole thing. But the best thing about model pages is when there's just such a very clear line of what cars are doing. And it's usually easiest with newer cars because there's less variables, right? They've not been wrecked. They've not been resto-modded, all that kind of stuff. One of my favorite ones is actually the Bronco.
Anybody want to risk pulling up the Hummer EV page?
Oh, well, what happens with those is you'll have a huge gap.
Because when people were trying to speculate, oh my God, dude, that's the best one I've ever seen.
Yes. So it is something.
Well, I mean, that was so fast. We were watching.
But that's because people are trying to speculate on them when they're new. Sure. But this probably happens with almost any new.
Did well on them.
They were every single one was less than the one
did
before.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a classic case of people who were the first ones. Like it happened with like the STs and all that special Cybertruck, all that kind of stuff. But what will happen?
The Cybertruck went quickly though.
The
Hummer stayed high for a while. The
Cybertruck has what you're talking about. Down, 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 and then it just stops.
It just stops. Because what happens is I think they start to flirt with the same price. It's no longer special. It's no longer an enthusiast thing. The availability is easy on those now.
Yeah. Or just buy a new one. There's no wait list.
Correct.
There's all the ones you can buy. Yeah.
And so it basically, until either you get some enthusiast who just really loves BAT and wants to list on here, or they stop making them,
Or at some point, there's going to be ones that have no miles when they stop making them and people will want to sell those. Wow, what's that model page you got up with all the dots on it?
This is the new Bronco model page. I love the
Tyler, I got to drive yours for a second. It was awesome.
Yeah. What, you liked it?
Heck yeah. I can see why people like them.
It's just such a fun drive. It feels like a class. It's got like character. It's one of the only new cars that has a little bit of character when you
also like get in it and feel confident. You're like, oh, I can go places.
Yeah.
Which like I haven't felt that in a long time. Well, because
I went to the top of the mountain at the Hollister Off-Road facility.
Heck yes,
a few weeks ago.
Just modern SUVs feel like cars now. So it's rare that you get in something that's new where you're like, oh, this feels capable.
Yeah, it feels like a truck.
Yes,
and
exactly.
It looks like it.
So this is we were saying the new Bronco model page.
That's a lot of dots.
It's a lot of dots. It's 490 results. But what I love about it is how clear and concise the focus is of the dots. So you have like a main.
Okay, so we're looking at two clusters, which both follow the same profile.
Correct. So there's a main cluster that starts at around 2022 when the first ones came to BAT. There's obviously some speculation. There's some flirting with $100,000, but they are not Raptors or anything. They're just first editions because that's just what's available.
And the trend is basically shallow dip over the years.
For sure. Basically matching inventory. Bronco is unique also because, Tyler, do you know how many versions there are of the Bronco? There's like 5 or 6 or something.
Well, if you include Sasquatch package, it goes to like 12.
Okay, there you go.
But there are like actually 8 or 9 these versions.
Having that many variables obviously is going to give you a deep spread on results that are still all very strong.
Some are more desirable than others.
Correct, exactly. And so you're not going to have like, this isn't a huge disparity in the same car, but like there's the top ones going for 90K and some lower ones hitting 40K while they're still in speculation mode, because some were really cheap and some were obviously far more expensive. And as time goes and inventory becomes more and more available, not only does that line come down, but also inventory tends to reduce as people consider alternatives, ways to trade in their car versus trying to sell it at what they bought it for or whatever. Then you get these little pockets of data points, say in 2023, which is when the first Raptor comes out.
Okay, yeah. Is that second curve that's sitting up above the other one?
And very notably, that curve is way steeper.
Right.
There's a few people out there who are willing to pay a massive premium
to have the first one,
just to get the first one. Right.
And that's similar to what we just saw with the Hummer EV.
Correct.
Where it's like a steep decline.
I think that's probably because there's a larger enthusiasm for it. Right. Like the Raptor captures the hearts and minds of enthusiasts more so than the base model does necessarily. So then over time, what happens is as inventory sort of drops out, people who really preserved their car, better examples, things that are actually now in better condition, they're no longer really a used car, you start getting this widened curve. It really spreads out more and more, and that'll only continue. Right, that'll get bigger and bigger as people modify them, as cars get.
But there's a few people with 1,000-mile Bronco Raptor sitting in their garage, unmodified,
and
not Tyler, because his Bronco's getting you.
No, mine's already on its second windshield.
And then eventually you'll get to a point where that curve will stop going down.
Yeah,
right.
On the Raptors, it looks like that's already kind of happened. Oh yeah.
Tell me more about this curve and stopping to go.
We're not talking about your truck, man.
One thing I love doing when you are looking at the Bronco page, you got to do this a little bit. If you're looking at the model page, you'll see there's an opportunity to exclude certain words in your search. Unfortunately, it's a little hidden. So if you're looking at the search bar for the model page, below that, there's a bunch of category sorting that you can do. If you keep scrolling all the way to the right, keep going until you can't do it anymore, you'll get a drop down for the option to exclude. And this is actually the most powerful thing you can do to reduce the sort of noise in your search results. And that is to essentially type in certain words that you're seeing on results that are extreme, whether they're really high or really low.
So you could type in Raptor and have it be excluded.
Exactly.
Or like let's say you're looking at a 67 Corvette model page, just exclude 427.
Or exclude project.
Okay.
Right. That's a big one. Like if you're just not looking for a project, if you want a regular driver, you're going to notice there's actually probably a lot of cars that are populated in this like under 20K range, and you're like, wait a minute, I can get a 427 for 20 grand. That's amazing until you go hover over it and you see,
but you almost can't really
project. And so then exactly, maybe not a 427 project, but if it's 427 powered project, yes. And so if you can exclude the word project, all of a sudden your data points become clear and clear and clear. And thus that exclude function is the best way. If you're doing research on bidding on a car, or if you're about to sell a car and you want to know what to go for, what likely reserve or result should be, you're going to want to look at the model page and sort of clean it up. A lot of data points there. And if you can exclude them down with things like project, the tough one is you can't exclude on mileage.
I was wondering
very well.
about that. Yeah.
Transmission, we talk about this all the time. We fantasize over a checkbox. So you can essentially see only manuals or see only automatics. And
I'm trying to think, there's no way that we have an exclude, but we don't have an include.
Well, yes, you do that. You type that in.
You can type in the 5-speed or 6-speed.
Yeah, okay.
But you have to know what the transmissions. In some cars, there was multiple transmission manual offerings.
Sure.
So, but there's still some little tricks and tips here that experts gather over time. But if that's what you're looking for, that's the best way to thin out your results.
Basically, what you're exposing is we need to get better about all of our searching tools, which we know, and people tell us all the time.
I remember when these model pages came out was about 2018. I remember because I was interviewing with you and Randy, and I brought it up in my interview, was how much I loved the new model pages. And at the time, there wasn't really much search for it. And we later added more and more. And we've essentially been just leapfrogged by the massive amount of data now.
Right.
We were ahead of it for a long time with the tools, and now the actual data itself is sort of...
There's so many results.
Well, it kind of goes back to our conversation earlier of what happens when you start doing 50,000 auctions a year.
Right.
It makes it harder to kind of go back and organize these things. I'm sure there are a lot of great ways that we could come up with to do this, but all of a sudden the kind of volume curve just gets bigger and bigger, and it's no longer kind of like trying to figure out 50,000 cars and how to organize them. It's a big deal.
Do we want to serve more customers, or do we want to make...
or do we want to make...
we're serving a lot of non-customers too. One of the things I hear all the time, I heard a shout out to the Avance folks who asked me to be on their panel along with Cars and Bids down at San Diego, but everybody kept talking about and asking about, the Cars and Bids guys didn't say it, although I'm sure they do. They look at our results for everything. Non-customers, even competitors, are using BAT results to judge how much they're going to offer for a reserve, or what they should, for dealers, what they should ask for a fixed price listing. Like, they're using BAT results, which are all free and public for all that stuff.
Dealers, one of my favorites is going on Craigslist, and the new I know what I have is one sold on BAT for this much money.
I remember how exciting it was when I first saw people copying our listing style on Craigslist. Yes, they write it just like a BAT listing. Mm-hmm. And now I see it everywhere in the copycat websites, even in some of the traditional pre-BAT places, they write their listings like ours.
I see inbound white glove inquiries where people have like sort of written their own little approach towards it.
Yeah.
I also did that for my job application.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You keep saying these things that I don't remember.
Wait a minute, you've hired people since me?
It was a long time ago, man.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
It wasn't part of my cover letter. As part of my application, I wrote a listing for my own car, which was the 911 actually at the time, because I just did the motor on it, which I think was not something we never asked for, but occasionally that happened. People were submitting their resume with a mock listing. Just
It's
sort of
a smart way of
reading between the lines of like, how do I differentiate myself? Because at the time, I mean, and still to this day, the amount of interest is a lot. And
huge.
So finding ways to differentiate how your application comes and arrives is important. And then doing a mock listing was a big one.
I'll give anyone a tip who's listening. Fill it out correctly. Do what they ask. The first test, I think this is probably true of almost anywhere that hires people. Your first test is, can you follow the instructions on how to apply for a job? Because guess what? When you're doing a job, you got to be able to follow instructions.
One of my favorite tests in middle school was the first instruction was write your name, don't do anything else, and bring the test up to the teacher and turn it in. And sure enough, everybody did the test. And then when they went to go fill their name nobody read the instructions. Correct. I think maybe like one person got up and then just left the classroom.
Yep. Hilarious. Well, thanks for doing this, guys. Did we talk about enough things?
I completed all the bullet points that I wrote prior to this podcast.
Wait,
wonderful.
You got a chance to write bullet points?
Oh yeah.
How long did you know
That's how I
about this?
differentiate my excellence.
See, we've got to get you on an impromptu year game.
Yeah, that's right.
He gets all this time.
Ian's right. That's the next host. No, we do need to do another one-year game. I was just talking to somebody, speaking of 56 of Chryslers, I was talking to one of my buddies the other day. We were talking about Tri-5s, because that's actually secretly what I would probably do Route 66 in, is a Tri-5 Chevy of some kind. And we were debating what's better, 55 or 57. And my buddy Roddy was like, what about 56s? The unloved 56 in the middle. I was like, actually, we did a podcast about 1956. Were you on that one? I can't remember. But we picked it specifically because 57, so much interesting stuff came out. And so we wanted to pick 1 year before, but there's amazing stuff in 56.
Well, to give a shout out to the late 50s and podcast fans, we had a fan come up to us.
Late 50s and podcast fans, is there an overlap there?
Yeah, right. Maybe. But he came up to us at the Hillsborough Concours and loves the 1 year game and would like to do
Would like late
a
50s.
late 50s.
Yeah, we're contemplating 59. You ready for
I've
59?
never done a 50s year. So I wasn't.
I actually think 56 is the oldest we've gone. Or we did one from the earlier 50s. We're a little negligent. Let's do 59. Let's do that. You guys down for that next week?
Yeah.
Love it.
59 works.
All right. Now I've promised it, and it may not come through. It was like me promising.
Maybe we should just
I
rewind.
promised
this a little
gone in
bit.
60 seconds for a month before we actually got to it.
Well, what is our next movie too, by the way?
All right, we're gonna get off the mic. We're gonna go away, and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
open my phone, and we'll pick off air. Thanks, boys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. As always, we appreciate you. Feedback, questions, concerns to podcast@bringatrailer.com. Catch you next time.